Tarte aux Pommes is almost like a national treasure of France. There are quite a few varieties, one of which is the one that I'm about to show you. A very easy and elegant dessert to make. Let me show you how to make this. Let's start by peeling the apples. You want to use something like golden apples or Granny Smith if you can. Core your apples using an apple corer, or like me, cut them in half and cut the insides carefully using a knife. Then we're going to use half of the apples to make a compote. To do that, cut them in chunk-sized pieces and set them aside. Cut them fairly small so that they can cook well and evenly, like this. Thinly slice the remainder of your apples as they will serve as the decorative top layer. A compote is basically pureed apples, so that's exactly what we're going to do by adding a few tablespoons of water and boiling these apples until they are well cooked through, to the point where they have caramelized and easy to mash. So now you're going to add a tablespoon of light brown sugar and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Depending on the type of sugar, so light brown and regular, and how long you cook the apples, will result in a lighter or darker colored compote or puree. Darker means slightly more caramelized, lighter means a bit more sweet. Whatever you decide to go for, once your apples have cooked, mash them and set them aside to cool. While that's cooling, flour your work surface lightly, then roll out your crust. It should be about half a centimeter in thickness, but big enough that will cover the entirety of your dish. Now carefully remove your crust and place onto your dish. You want to make sure that again it really covers the entirety of your dish, so place and move the dough as required around the dish and apply a little pressure by tapping all the way around to make sure that it really sticks to your dish. Then using a rolling pin, roll over the sides of your dish to remove any excess dough. Apply a very clean finish. Now for even nicer finish, pinch your dough all the way around the crust for that traditional apple pie look. Using a fork, make holes all over your crust. This will remove any unwanted air bubbles while it's baking. We can now put this tart together. So spread your apple compote all over your dish, making sure that you have an even layer. The next part is purely decorative. There isn't a particular order to follow, but for the classic look, place your apple slices overlapping each other, starting from the edge of the crust. Then you can make a rosette pattern by going clockwise, then anti-clockwise, then clockwise once again, or the other way around. Now drop a few knobs of butter all across your pie. This will help give your pie a bit of color. In an oven preheated at 170 degrees, bake your pie for 20 minutes, then remove and sprinkle some light brown sugar. This will give a bit more caramelization and even further depth in taste. Then place for another 20 minutes and you will have a well-baked and caramelized apple pie. As you can tell, it has cooked really well and has a lovely golden color. Now if I cut a slice into it, you will see that it has a very thin but even layer of apple slices and filling, as well as an even crust, which is exactly what you want. Now this is best served warm, so place on a plate with a scoop of ice cream ideally and dig into it straight away. This was my recipe for French style apple pie, also known as a tarte aux pommes.